What's going on, everybody? Tom here with Black Sheep Keto, and welcome to another recipe video just for you subscribers out there. Now today, I got a special video in store because one of you guys challenged me. Yeah, that's right. Somebody out there decided to challenge me to make cornbread, and I'm not going to back down from a challenge. So that is right. Today we are making a ketogenic cornbread. Now this stuff is awesome. There is some flavoring you have to use to get that cornbread flavor, but we're going to cover all that at the very end because there are a few options in terms of the flavor. But first, let's just show you guys how to make the recipe. All right, everybody, welcome to the recipe. Now in front of us, we have our wet ingredients, and we'll be getting to the dry stuff in a second. So in this bowl, I have 12 tablespoons of butter. That is 1.5 sticks of butter, 4 eggs right here, and then 1/4 cup of Lakanto's monk fruit sweetener. It's like a monk fruit erythritol blend. Really like the stuff. So we're just gonna go ahead and combine all of this. A note on the melted butter is I let it cool down a little bit so it does not cook my eggs. Pour everything in there, and we're gonna give it a nice whisking. Another thing I want to mention is that monk fruit sweetener does not fully dissolve in water or fat in this case, so it will need to be stirred again right before we mix it, but I like to put it in with the wet ingredients. You can totally put it in with the dry if you want. It's just personal preference since it does not absorb anyway. All right, now we're going to set this aside and get our dry ingredients. And just like that, everybody, we have all of our dry ingredients here. Now in this bowl, I have 2¼ cups of almond flour. I know that sounds like a lot, but keep in mind we are making a dozen muffins. There's 3 tablespoons of ground flaxseed right in here, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and between 1/2 and 1 teaspoon of salt. This is actually 3/4 teaspoon. I find that if you like a sweeter cornbread, go with a 1/2 teaspoon. If you like a saltier cornbread, go with a teaspoon. It's kind of a regional thing, so I wanted to give you both options. So we're gonna go ahead and pour in our almond flour, the ground flaxseed, the baking soda, and the salt. Now there is one more ingredient that we'll get to in just a second, but let's go ahead and give this a mix real quick. So now you've come to the part of the video where you get to make another choice, and that is for the flavoring. What are you going to use to make this taste like cornbread? So I tried all 3 of these that you have here. So one here is the sweet cornbread from Sweet Life, the cornbread flavoring from OOO Flavors or OO Flavors, and the buttered popcorn from Lorraine Oils. I've tried all of them. I like them all to some degree. What I will say about this one from OOO Flavors is it does kind of taste a little bit like banana if you use a little bit too much of it, and I can still pick it up even when you use it in the correct portions, so not a huge fan of this one. For today's recipe, I am going to be using the sweet cornbread from Sweet Life. So I'm going to put 24 drops of it into my liquid ingredients. Now we're going to give this a quick little mixing just to get that flavor mixed into the ingredients and to mix up the monk fruit that's probably settling on the bottom before we pour it into our dry ingredients. Now this is already smelling like a delicious cornbread, but we do have to give this one final mixing. You don't want to overmix it, just make sure everything gets nice and well incorporated. And just like that, guys, we are ready to start putting it in our muffin cups. Now, before we start filling these, when you have your muffin pan ready, I do recommend using paper liners. That way they do not stick to the pan. And we're gonna go through and just put a spoonful in each, and then we're gonna try to even them out a little bit later. Now I have done my best here to make them very even, and I used a spoon just to kind of roughly smooth out the top. You will notice that the batter is very thick, and that's because we wanted this to be dense because cornbread's pretty dense. But they will kind of smooth out as they rise, so don't necessarily worry if the top is not perfect. Now we're gonna stick these in a 325 Fahrenheit oven for between 20 and 22 minutes. All right, everybody, now that you have seen the recipe, it is time for the taste test. So I have myself, if I can grab it, one of these cornbread muffins right here, and let's give it a bite. Now that is a very, very good cornbread, guys. It took me a while to actually replicate this recipe, so I'm gonna show you all the failures on the screen right now. This is a mixture of the cornbread and some banana nut muffins that I kind of threw in the same box, but that recipe will be coming out later on. Anyway, you can see it took a lot of attempts to make this, and that was because we had to get the texture right and we had to get the flavoring right. And as you guys saw in the video, I did have about 3 different flavorings to choose from. I found that that buttered popcorn was pretty good. I liked it, but it wasn't very potent. So we ended up going with the Sweet Life flavoring, and that OOO Flav Drops, or what OO Flavors, or however you say it, I feel like it just gave it a little bit too much banana flavor. Now that wasn't too bad because that inspired me to make a banana nut muffin, but it just wasn't what we were aiming for here. So I do like those Sweet Life drops, but pretty much whatever flavoring you find is gonna be pretty good. The other thing is the texture. We wanted this to be kind of crumbly but stay moist, which is why we have a tablespoon of butter per serving, which also gives us this ridiculously high fat ratio. If you don't believe me, check out the macros and the recipe down in the description because the fat ratio is off the charts with these things. So anyway guys, with that, I'm gonna go and close the video. If you like this video, leave it a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section for me. And if you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for, guys? Do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, show me some love. And with that, guys, I will see you in the next one.